she's not
Where's,
there. Who?
They still use it?
We can go live.
We're ready. Go ahead. Okay, good evening. Welcome audience and students tonight. Met a new little student tonight, so can I have a call to the order and roll call, please?
Dr. Lopez?
Here.
Mr. Lewandowski?
Here.
Mr. Carlson?
Here.
Mr. Holt?
Here.
Mr. Post?
Here. Move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item D is recognitions. We don't have any tonight, so we will move to item E, board communications. Does anybody have anything to share? No? Okay, we'll move to remarks from the public. First one I have is Mia Parch, Kendall Olson, and Jaden Avanetti.
Is it always this quiet in here? I'm sorry. It's a little tense in here, a little bit. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Mia Parch. I'm the student body president at Marana High School. Before we talk about how the Spirit Conference went and how amazing it was, I'm going to let the other student body officers introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Kendall, the student body vice president.
And I'm Jaden, the student body treasurer.
I'm sorry, I'm reading off something. For those of you that don't know, our school hosted this year's AASC Southern Arizona Spirit Conference, and not to brag, it went pretty awesome. We had an additional 850 people in our gym last Thursday, August 25th. To start off, we wanted to thank all the clubs at Marana High School that made this even possible. Thank you to Coach Alyssa at Marana and Marana cheerleaders. Thank you to Coach Maya and the Marana dance team. Thank you, Miss Evans and Company Dance. Thank you to Mr. Atterbury and Marana Band, Mrs. Brandriff and the Honor Choir. They all performed and showed how great Marana is. Thank you to Mrs. Nickenrocker and Marana Sewing and Fiber and Arts Club for helping with our shirts. And finally, Mr. Fisher and Welding Pro Charlotte Montague for making our awards. Everyone liked them.
Our maintenance staff was amazing in moving everything around to help us host all those people, and wonderful nurse, Miss Cassidy, who came over to help a visiting student. We would also love to thank our administration. Thank you, Mr. Villanueva, for helping us plan this event even before the school year began. Also, thank you, Mr. Golagowski, for all of your efforts while you were still our principal, and even after moving to district. You still helped us perfect the conference by speaking and representing our district.
And thank you, Principal Kaufman, for coming this year and hitting the ground running as you moved back to our school, and for your beautiful speech and spirit you brought to the conference. And thank you, Ms. Reedy, for speaking during the Spirit Conference. It was amazing to have a former student body president in the house. We truly appreciate everyone who made this possible. There was one more important name that we didn't mention yet, Senora Ewing, our student council advisor. Thank you so much, Senora Ewing, for making this event possible. Without you, none of this could have happened.
And thank you to Senor Ewing for always picking us up food while we prepare for Spirit Conference. We really couldn't have done it without food. I mean you. I'm sorry. To end off, we truly appreciate everyone that made this year's Southern Arizona Spirit Conference beautiful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next is Megan Brown.
Good evening, governing board, senior staff, audience members. My name is Megan. I am here as the vice president of the Teachers Union. Ms. Raina York couldn't be with us tonight. We wanted to update you on the PBP, and that's on the agenda tonight. Out of last negotiation cycle, members brought forward that we wanted to look at the current PBP plan And so members and PBP leaders met with senior staff over the summer, and we revised this plan together. We're really excited for you to see it. We hope that you adopt it. We are most excited that it's honoring the work that teachers already do and not creating further loopholes and goals to achieve rather than streamlining it together. So we're excited about that. We also wanted to invite you to tomorrow night's event at Mountain View High School. We're hosting the Battle of the Boot 491 literature slam, if you will. So Dr. Streeter is coming to present at the lecture hall at 4:30, and he's going to explain 491 in depth, answer any questions you may have, and then after that, we're going to go out into the parking lot and share palm cards with voters as they come in. So it would be awesome to see you, and we will provide dinner. We, the PAC, will provide dinner. I am not cooking, and we'd be really excited to have you. So I appreciate you and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is item G, Superintendent Comments.
Yes, Madam President, governing board members, members of our audience. It's been a great start to the school year. Since our last meeting, I have had the opportunity to complete all of my fall campus and department updates. That's visiting each campus, each of our departments, providing an update to the district on enrollment, which is strong and continues to grow in MUSD. So it'll provide some budget highlights, including some of the additional dollars that we saw in this last state budget session. We're hopeful that the state legislature will continue to fund that as promised. Also talked about some of the legislative changes that will be impacting our classrooms. Gave an update to our staff on Proposition 491, what that is, what those projects would cover. Gave an update to our staff on our school safety, both our past work and the work that's taking place over the summer, as well as our future plans. And then spent a lot of time educating staff on the aggregate expenditure limit, which will be the #1 issue that this district will face. And as a reminder for folks, the Arizona Constitution establishes the aggregate expenditure limit, which limits spending for school districts statewide. And this limit is based on fiscal year 1980 spending levels plus 10%. There is an adjustment for inflation and enrollment. Why this is going to be an issue is last year, school districts went over the aggregate constitutional limit that was set in 1980 by about $1.2 billion across the state. And there's two main reasons that you're seeing us go over this limit. One is we're starting to see the restoration of budget cuts from prior years. So we have more dollars coming into the system. And the second item has to do with Proposition 301, which is the sales tax initiative. Previously, that revenue was exempted from the aggregate expenditure limit. But starting in fiscal year 22, when the state legislature reauthorized Prop 301, that revenue is no longer exempted from the aggregate expenditure limit. So that now is pushing us over that piece. So we are hopeful that we will get some relief from the state legislature, and hopefully the state will allow us to spend the funds that have already been provided to the district. So I'm sure I'll be keeping everybody updated as we go through the school year on this. And the one last thing that I want to give a special shout out to our transportation department, and specifically to Patricia Cecina, who allowed me to join her on her morning bus run back on August 26th. We started out in Avra Valley, picked up many of our Roadrunner students, and I was able to enjoy the ride into school with some of our best and brightest that we have. So thank you to Patricia, thank you to transportation, and thank you to Roadrunner for allowing me to then spend the morning on the campus. And this concludes my report.
Are you the one that drove her into the ditch?
I do not drive the buses.
Okay, thank you. Next item is H, consent agenda. Can I have a motion?
I move the governing board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
On the consent agenda, I always like to give a shout out to people who donate funds to our school, to our kids, includes backpacks, anything that is in need. Sarco donated $1,200. Bluefinch Bakery was a check for $1,000. David and Connie Corbett Trust, a check for $700. and Susan Holland, a check for 500. So that's always appreciated. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next item is I, unfinished business. There is none, so we're going to move to item J, new business. Dr. Dumler?
Yes, thank you, President Lopez, Vice President Lewandowski, Dr. Streeter, board members, and members of the audience. As Megan mentioned, this is the discussion and approval, hopeful approval of the performance-based pay plan that was substantially revised over the summer through a committee that we formed in the spring with MUSD and MEA leadership. The changes to the plan were informed by recent legislative changes, as well as current research and best practices in school and district improvement. And research shows that substantial school improvement requires a coordinated, systemic, and collective effort rather than a series of individual events. As you know, our previous plan, individual grade levels or departments set goals based on their own data, but that resulted in many separate individual goals, not necessarily all aligned towards the same purpose. So this year's plan emphasizes the role of all teachers in MUSD engaging in professional learning and collaboration, aligned with our 3 district areas of focus: school climate and culture, professional learning community, recalibration, and literacy practices. In addition to the professional learning component, there are also components for classroom level student achievement, which is measured through the teacher evaluation system, and also for school level student achievement as measured by the school letter grade. ARS 15977 requires that at least 70% of eligible teachers vote to approve the plan. The plan was presented to our teachers via a screencastify that Ms. York and I worked on together. We then sent out the vote to approve or not approve. To date, 73% of our teachers have voted to approve, 3% not to approve, and the remaining teachers have not voted after maybe 6 reminders. So it's attached for your review. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Can I have a motion?
Okay, I move the governing board approve the 2022-2023 performance-based pay plan as presented.
Second.
Is there any questions?
I have some comments. So for anybody who's paid attention for 11 years, this has been a pea under my mattress, and it's good. Now, I mean, the new one is good. This is what should have been there 11 years ago when I got on the board, that we could have, moved ahead from there over, or from this over 11 years. So, I want to thank the committee, thank Dr. Streeter for supporting the revision to this. Revision isn't even the right word. This thing has been re-engineered. Okay, it bears no resemblance to what everybody struggled with for all these years, and yeah, I look forward to for many years to come for evaluating and approving the performance-based pay based on the things in this plan. So, thank you to the committee, thank you to the administration, thanks to the teachers for, supporting this and voting for it, and recognizing that change needed to be made. So this is awesome.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Who is the PBB Appeals Committee?
So if you look at the way that the appeals committee is established, it's on the second to the last page. So it's going to depend on where the appeals come from. So if you look at it, it will be an oversight committee. It will consist of 1 district administrator, 2 school site administrators, and 3 teachers. And the reason that it changes is that none of the people on the committee would be from the same school as the teacher who sends in the appeal. So if there was a time that an appeals committee had to be formed, then we would work with MEA leadership to form that committee at that time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want, and absolutely what Tom said, it's about time, since it's been going on for years. It is definitely solid, so I hope that we'll see something at the end. So it'll be good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next item is J2. And
Okay, I would move the governing board remove agenda item discussion approval of superintendent's 2022-2023 performance goals from the table.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Do you read the other motion?
Well, that's,
I move the governing board approve the agreed upon performance goals for the 2022-2023 fiscal year, school year.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item is item K, board member requests for future agenda items. Do we have any? No. Next one is future meetings. And I don't think I have this on here. When our next meeting is. Oh, here it is. Our next regular meeting is October 6th and November 10th and December 8th. We do have our other meetings that we do over at the technology every other week. So that one starts earlier. That's 5 p.m. So other than that, item M, adjournment. Can I have a
Move we
motion?
adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.